Handle.
Right.
Set it on fire.
All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Aaron Smith. I'm the CEO of the Energy and Environmental Building Alliance, and I'm joined as always by Nancy Bakeman. And today we have a really great panel for you. It's Voice of the Builder, DOE Zero Energy Ready Home Builders, sharing their secrets for cost-effective, high-performance homes. We've really got a group of the best of the best. And I'm also proud to have our moderators and introduce them. What's the peanut gallery comments now? Come on. I'm also really proud to introduce our moderators. We have Teresa Gilbride with Pacific Northwest National Labs and Terrence Mosley with the U.S. Department of Energy. So I will be handling the Q&A. Q&A is at the bottom of your screen. If you can't figure that out, you can always chat. I'll be curating those questions and presenting them throughout the panel, but please enter your questions there. And with that, Terry and Terrence, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. So good morning, everyone. We're going to talk to you about the DOE's Zero Energy Ready Home Program and some amazing builders who are really leading the pack in certifying homes to that program. So before we introduce our builder panelists, so I'll give a quick overview of what the DOE Zero Energy Ready Home Program is, joined by Terrence Mosley from U.S. Department of Energy. So if you're not familiar with the program, it is a voluntary home labeling program. It starts with Energy Star as a baseline. So you need to certify your home to Energy Star. We also ask that you certify your home to EPA's Indoor Air Plus. Also to the hot water distribution requirements of WaterSense, so you don't have to certify the whole house to WaterSense. You need to meet the envelope requirements of whatever is the next code above your state's code, so 2012, 15, or 18, most likely for compliant with the IECC. The ducts, if you have a duct system, needs to be inside the conditioned space of the home. Lighting and appliances and windows need to be Energy Star certified. And then HVAC and hot water and air sealing need to meet climate specific requirements. And we call it the Zero Energy Ready Home Program because you need to have the house ready to put solar on, but you don't have to actually put the solar on, though over 60% of our projects are certified with the solar on. So if you're familiar with the HERS score, the HERS index, so obviously the goal would be a zero energy home, one that's a 0 on the HERS index. We would say most new homes to code, if you average them across the US, are probably at about 80 to 85. Existing homes are far above that at probably 130 or so. But many of our builders are hitting 50 or below, and with the PV on, our average is a 6 on the program. So Terrence, would you like to add a few words about the DOE Zero Energy Ready Home Program?
Sure. You know, when you look at this chart, you can see the uptick in the program and how it's grown over the last 7 years. And the great part about the builders that you're going to meet today and the projects you'll see, you know, these builders are my former coworker and mentor Sam Raskin always said the train is leaving the station. So these builders have gotten on the train before it's left the station, and they have grown with the program and learned, and we've all learned from each other. And when you get to the point now where we're up to over 7,000 homes certified to date, that number is going to continue to grow. And with the new priorities of the current administration, and just with the way that we are trying to move to a zero carbon economy and to more green buildings in this space, this is something that I think will continue to grow. So we just feel that the timing is great for this, and we're happy for those of you who can be on board to watch this and continue to learn from builders like you're going to see today. So that's all I'll say, and then we'll jump right into the session with our builders so that you can meet them and learn what they're doing.
Great. Thanks so much, Terrence. We've got 6 builders joining us today from the program. We're going to start with Anthony Nashmed from Dwell Development in Seattle. Anthony, would you like to say a few words to introduce yourself?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I feel honored to be a part of this prestigious group of builders. We've been involved with the Zero Energy Ready Home program since 2014, and we've been recognized for 5 of our homes throughout that time period of being awarded the prestigious honor of being recognized. But Dwell's foundation of being a sustainable builder and an energy efficient home builder started well before that, and we've leveraged our design and our commitment to net zero energy into an awareness program, and that's why we partner with EEBA and the DOE, because we want to spread the word and share what we've learned over the years with other builders. So because we want every builder out there to build at this level.
Thanks, Anthony. Want to say a word or two about this latest project that you had certified?
Yeah, so this is what we call this our Flora farmhouse, and this is located in a historical area of Seattle called Georgetown. It's net zero energy ready, has a HERS of about a 50 on this one before solar. We put it on the market right when COVID hit, but our standard systems are built off of the passive house model of a big thermal blanket around the house, airtight, triple pane windows, heat recovery, ventilation, and efficient mechanical systems. So our goal is to design every home so that the homeowners can simply add solar on at their leisure in the future. And you can see that this home was recognized by the DOE, and every home that we build is to this standard or better. We built numerous zero energy homes as well.
Great. Thanks so much, Anthony. Next up, we've got Jay Epstein from Healthy Communities.
Hi. I've been building, I would say, your solar homes since 2014, and it was no more than a beacon on the rooftop. At our opening, we had over 1,000 people in the first week come out, but nobody was buying because they just wanted to see it. It took a while to start home sales, but once home sales started and they started seeing the savings and the efficiencies of the homes that we were building, it took off and we sold out. And since that time, it's actually appreciated in value a great deal. What you're looking at here, and the project I was talking about before, is the villas at Rockets Landing, one of the award-winning communities, but I mandated solar on that community. This is Virginia's first zero energy ready home community. It's 75 single family homes. And it's the simplicity of the build is what we try to push through to the subcontractor. And I'll talk about that more later. But the walls are 2x6, 24-inch. We use a flash and batt. And we're on the exterior, we use a thermal blanket. And that's the zip with R3. And then the HVAC, we use the Train HVA system, close to a 20 SEER. And the solar, we've standardized 5.94 kW throughout the community, no matter if it's an 1,800 square foot home or if it's a 3,000 square foot home. What we found with the lower square footage is that they are actually zero energy homes. We actually guarantee the total utility bill to be no more than $1.50 a day averaged over the year. Next slide. And as you can see what the costs are. Our HERS with solar are 9. Like I said, on the smaller ones, they'll go all the way down to 0, 1. On the larger ones, they'll go as high as 12 with solar. But our baseline is below 50, 46, 47 in that area. So by adding the added cost for the PV, and what happens here is that when we sell somebody a PV system, what we're doing is we're actually saying, hey, your house is already pre-wired for it. The roof trusses are beefed up. We've dedicated an area on the roof. It's going to be simple for you. The electrical is drawn. You can choose to put it on now or later. But what it does, it opens up 100% of the market to us versus my first community that we were only at 1%. Okay. And then I always use the word the simplicity of the build. We've done the one-offs and won awards with the one-offs, but they take a lot of time and difficulty to put together because they're special, from the neopore that you might use in the walls. But the advanced framing that we're using here, the flash and bat, the condition crawls, the windows, and I'll go into that a little bit further on some of the questions coming back. But it's a great way to build. It's a great way to get your subcontractors involved in it. And also it's a beacon for the other builders and for the buyers to know what to buy. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jay. Next up, we've got Kevin Brosna from Insight Homes. I'll point out Insight Homes had the most certified homes in the program last year.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Like Anthony was saying, it's great to be in such good company with everyone. Throughout the year, we don't often enough get a chance to connect with like-minded builders out there. So it's nice to be back and see everybody's faces here as much as we can see each other. Insight is a mid-size production builder in Delaware. For those of you that aren't really that familiar with Delaware, we actually do have 3 different kinds of regions in Delaware. We're building primarily in central and southern Delaware. And we build a variety of product types. I think the thing that makes Insight a bit unique in the high performance community is the fact that we pride ourselves in wanting to make sure we're offering the same high performance features across our product types. So we build multifamily, we build for rent, we build single family, detached products, and then we're in the we also build in the luxury category as well. So we're building 3- and 4-story houses on the waterfront on pilings. But regardless of our product type, Insight believes that all of our customers should have the right to have access to high performance homes. So our homes that sell in the low 200s and our homes that sell for over $1 million will all have the same high performance features and provide the same benefits to our customers. We've been building that way since we've started. We're now going into about our 15th year. And right from the beginning, realized the benefit of partnering with groups like the Building America program. And that Building America program relationship kind of evolved into the relationship that we have with the DOE Zero Energy Ready program. But we focus, most of our clients are retirees in this area. And you could imagine with clients being on a fixed income, the predictability of utility bills, the predictability of maintenance costs is important. And that's why we see the benefit of partnering with programs, again, like the DOE Zero Energy Ready program, because there is that third-party verification of that performance of the homes. And there is that verification of the constructability and the durability features that go into the homes to give the customers the confidence that they will have low utility bills, that they will have low ongoing maintenance costs. Our homes do not come with solar standard. We focus mostly on energy conservation rather than on-site energy generation. And most of the customers in the area don't elect to add solar to their homes. They see that their homes are performing, and usually their average electric cost on a monthly basis is, around $100. That's for homes that are anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 or maybe even 4,000 square feet. Average electric cost is around $100. It's shocking, and people don't expect that. Then you add in the gas cost, and you have some additional expense there on a monthly basis. But that electric cost is shocking for them, especially when they're moving from other locations down here and used to $500 a month electric bills or $700 a month electric bills to come down and see this is it's a great feeling every time you see that surprise on a customer's face. A couple of the features of our model here, the Nelson model. We do have 2x6 panelized walls. We do offsite fabrication of the walls using the zip system wall sheathing and 2x6 24 inches on center We have R23 netted and blown in the walls. We do raised heel roof trusses for full depth insulation out over the exterior walls. We have incorporated up to 20 SEER dual fuel heat pumps standard across our product types, not an option. They are paired with a modulating gas furnace as backup. You see a 97.5 AFUE, so very good equipment that's being set standard across the homes. Other things are central vac is standard, high performing windows, and two-stage air sealing on the homes. We see really a huge benefit to getting the air sealing dialed in well. You see in the spray foam in the band joists, and then we also do an air sealing package after drywall on the lid of the home.
Nice. Kevin, thank you so much. Up next, we have Rick Wertheim from United Way of Long Island.
Hi there, Terry. How are you? So good afternoon, everyone. It's always a privilege to be on yet another Zoom call. So I want to thank everyone for that. But it's also great that everybody on the call is interested in what high performance building could mean to builders who are interested in it. And on that note, maybe Nancy, can we put up a poll to see what kind of folks we have on the call? Wow, look at that. That's technology for you. So for those who are builders, raters, designers, subcontractors, developers, just kind of curious, most of us on the call are builders. We actually are builders, developers also at United Way, mostly in the special needs and affordable housing category.
And maybe Rick, the people that are putting other, we have quite a few under other, if you could chat what your professional title is, that would help us as well.
Well, that's always good. So I am the Senior Vice President of Housing and Green Initiatives here at United Way of Long Island. That's the name our group uses right now. And we're really meant to serve the community to push high performance homes, not only to the affordable housing community, first time home buyers, but also for homes that we develop that are using taxpayer dollars. And it's just a good stewardship of funds that we develop homes that have better durability, better sustainability, but also reap the benefits of health, comfort, and just having the lowest operational costs that a house can produce. And that's what a zero energy ready home can do for those on the call. So seems like we have, what do we think? We have some HVAC distributors. We have some consultants. What else do we have, Aaron?
We've got an instructor from Northeast Wisconsin Technical College. Let's see, energy advisor. And then our standard categories, builders, architects, energy raters as well. But CM consultant as well on the line.
Wow, nice.
Great.
That's really good because construction managers having a good background in building science is a really valuable asset, and working with different developers and different builders and different clients would really be extremely helpful. So the homes that you could see, we're on the case study, and without going into a lot of detail, I think it's just important to note that houses that are net positive, just there's really no disputing the value of not having an energy bill. The question becomes, does that make sense? And what the zero energy ready model tells you is that you can start anywhere from being ready to get to full net zero or near zero. We prefer to go more towards the net zero because the life cycle cost of the home, the homes that we build that need to go into 10, 20, 30 years, we realize the benefit over the life cycle of the project hands down. So it's really a no-brainer for people like folks like Habitat for Humanity, community development corporations, all nonprofit builders should really be considering this model of housing. And the Zero Energy Ready program is, I think, your easiest entry point into high performance building. I'm a recovering architect myself, and going through all of the different programs out there, and I think they're all great, by the way. I just think for me, as I get older, I look for the easy button. I just want to go and see how I could get into high performance home building the easiest way possible. And I would just suggest to you that this is the way to do it. So let's see what we got on the next slide. So for those who are into design, and what differentiates different high performance houses from others are all the details. So it's all about building envelope. For instance, our building envelope is probably pushing the limit of what a 2x6 can do. We're 2x6, 24 on centers with the neopore, sheathing on the outside with an OSB layer on top, or wind resistance on top of that. And then we put 1.5 inches of wall tight spray foam to Gorilla Glue the entire assembly. I actually need less hold downs by code with that particular assembly. And with that closed cell wall tight foam, with that rigid board fusing to the studs, with the additional insulation that we blow in with Pro Pink Owens Corning material, I'm at an R33. So an R33 for a 2x6 wall is pretty good. And that wall assembly will perform well into the life cycle of the home while managing all the moisture and sort of thermodynamic issues that go on in the climate zone that Long Island, New York, in a sort of mixed climate area would produce. What's also cool is what you're seeing is that we do pre-engineered trusses whenever we can, floor trusses, roof trusses, and we design our roof truss to be a modified attic truss. So an attic truss typically is a square place where you can pull down stairs and you can maybe even walk through a trussed roof assembly. But we kind of trimmed down that truss, that attic truss area to the point where it became a HVAC conditioned raceway for all the mechanical systems. So now our mechanical systems are technically out of the conditioned space. They are performing without thermal interference from a freezing cold attic or 130-degree attic. And now I don't have to worry so much about duct sealing and duct blaster testing. So my suggestion to those on the call is to look for some really good details that help you achieve your high performance, and try to curate all of those details together. It all starts in the design, starts in the beginning. Next.
Great. All right.
I
so
think that's
now-
it. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much, Rick. Tim O'Brien from Tim O'Brien Homes. You could share with us a little bit about your work, Tim.
Yes, thank you, Teresa. Great to be here with this great group of people. I'll move through this here. So we got the Housing Innovation Award last year, and this was the home. We are a semi-custom builder in Wisconsin. We're in both the Milwaukee market, Madison market as well. Do a little over 200 homes per year. And about a third of our homes at this point are zero energy ready homes. And in this case, we actually added solar to it to drop to increase the production level. But we really, like Kevin mentioned before, we really focus on lowering consumption first. That's what we focus on, is lowering consumption, really good details on air sealing in the home. And so in this particular home, and with all of our homes actually, we're 2x4, 16-inch on center. We have a 1-inch insulated sheathing board that wraps around the house, when we have to also wrap with about 7/16 OSB for wind bracing in our zone here that we're in, our climate zone, as well as our building code. And so that wrap gives us a nice thermal break in the studs to the exterior. Then we use blowing in blanket insulation in the wall cavities. You could see in one of the photos in the bottom there that we use closed cell foam in our box sills, which is really an area that we've essentially eliminated air infiltration. One of the biggest contributors to an air sealing problem is in that box cell. And then the second one is in the attic. And so any penetrations that we have in our attic, we use closed cell foam just in those areas of those penetrations. The solar system on this house, the solar array on this one was 6.9 kilowatts. We are designing the home's solar array to be to match up mostly with consumption, but not getting to a point that because we get penalized here in Southeast Wisconsin for overproduction from our utility companies, which is a shame, but it is what it is. So we work through it. I want to go to the next slide, Nancy. And in this, oh, actually, I don't know if there's another slide for this, but in this particular home, we actually, yeah, there is one, I'm sorry. With this one here then, so we got a HERS score of 24. It's about a 2,100 square foot home. And what's interesting about this home, and Nancy, if you go to the next slide, is that we actually worked with a local high school to build this home. So we have a trades program actually now with 3 high schools. One we've been with for about 10 years, and this particular one in New Berlin is our 3rd year. So the kids got to actually be involved in building this zero energy ready home, which was a great experience for them. We had about, I think on this particular one, we had about 12 kids building this home side by side with our trade partners. And so they got a great experience in building a zero energy ready home. And I think that's kind of the key, is to really, how do we get our younger potential labor force in this case to really kind of embrace energy efficiency and green home building. But that's kind of an introduction to our company, and I'll keep this moving. Todd, I think it's on to you.
Hey, yeah, I think it is. So I'm Todd Usher with Addison Homes in Greenville, South Carolina, and we've been building to the zero energy ready standard, I think, since the standard came out. It's been a step for us over the years as an incremental step towards higher and higher performance. We try to stay on the latest and greatest. In this particular home, we're in climate zone 3. So our typical wall assembly is 2x4 exterior walls, 16-inch on center, with R13 unfaced fiberglass to a grade 1 in the cavities, and then an exterior insulation 1 inch of R5 XPS. All of our homes, we heat and cool with heat pumps. So we focus on electrifying our homes if and when it's possible, so that we can offset as much production or consumption with the production from the solar array. This particular client opted for a smaller solar array. This is about the smallest that we do. And if you hit the next slide, even with this 3 kilowatt, just over a 3 kilowatt array, the home buyers' utility bills were next to nothing. And I think the theme that all of you are probably hearing here between each of the builders on this panel is that each of us focuses on reducing consumption first and renewable energy to make up the balance if someone chooses renewables. So your best bang for your buck is reducing consumption through that tight envelope, well-insulated envelope, and efficient equipment. And that's been our approach for years. I don't know if there's another slide. Yep. So a couple of other things that we incorporate here in the warm, humid South is natural daylighting. We find is a very popular option with our clients. When we can flood that house with natural daylight, there's less need to turn on the lights during the day, and many positive outcomes from living in an environment with natural lighting. We also can use those daylighting devices like the skylight that you see there in the upper left to ventilate the house. So in that case, in this particular application, that operable skylight is remote controlled and actually can be smart controlled with an indoor air quality sensor to naturally ventilate the home during times of advantageous outdoor weather conditions. And then when we build on crawl spaces, which we frequently do in our market, we always encapsulate and condition the crawl space with the rest of the house. That provides a great environment for our heating and cooling ductwork and system. and also eliminates many of the indoor air quality concerns that vented crawl spaces result in the South. Now, I'll mention too, we are in the Southeast, and we find that we're quite the pioneers in the Southeast, where the energy codes have not caught up with some of the rest of the country. So many of these approaches that we're doing are quite different from what our competitors are doing in our market. But we found that our trades really get behind these and embrace doing a better job. They appreciate the attention to detail and understanding how they fit into that overall picture.
Great, Todd. Thank you so much. So that was an introduction to all of our builders. Now we're going to move on to questions. We've come up with a few questions to ask our folks, and then when we're done asking questions, audience, please feel free to chime in with your own questions. So first question is, what is different about building to zero energy ready home standard compared to building just to code? And Anthony and Tim, I'd love to hear from you on this.
Okay, I guess I'll go first. Well, for us here in Seattle, we're in a marine climate, and we're pretty progressive in Seattle with the energy code. We have probably one of the leading energy code models of any city in the country. So we're already building at an accelerated efficiency level. But for us, regardless of where that energy code goes, for us, a code built home is the worst home that you can legally build and that you can get a permit for. So it's the minimum standard that most builders work off of. And for us, that's not acceptable. Our goal is to get these homes 100% above that energy goal in the end with solar, but we at least got to get to 60, 70% of the way there with how we build our homes. And that goes through the whole efficiency of how we do our homes as well, with airtight envelope, HRVs moving the air around. So for us, it's the only way we know how to build a home, and we're fully committed to it. So that's our commitment.
Awesome, thank you. Tim.
Yeah, so for us, I mean, like Todd mentioned, he's in an area of the country where the energy codes are not as progressive, and we're in one of those areas as well. So we're still on the 2009 energy code, and there's just an opportunity to build better than what Anthony referred to and I referred to as barely legal in terms of the code. What's different about the Zero Energy Ready Home program really is it's a holistic program. It doesn't just focus exclusively on energy efficiency. It recognizes that when you build tighter homes, you have other areas of need that you must address, such as indoor air quality. IAQ is a big component of any time that you build a tight home, and the code doesn't really address, in most cases, it doesn't really address fresh air systems into the home. It addresses ventilation, exhaust fans in bathrooms and kitchens, but it really doesn't address a controlled fresh air ventilation system. And the Zero Energy Ready Home program takes that holistic, comprehensive approach. And in our market, I call our buyers kind of an economic green buyer. They're really looking for the value in the home, and we have to demonstrate that value. And what we found is it's been easier for us to demonstrate that value with the Zero Energy Ready Home program and that approach, and really show them not only are you saving on consumption of energy, but you're also getting a more healthier home, one that's more comfortable, one that provides you a greater level of control in terms of your utility bills. And then that peace of mind that comes from a third-party certified accredited program sponsored by the Department of Energy. So, I mean, there's just so much great credibility to the program. Now, sometimes you have to define, what the additional cost might be. It's really a function of where you start at. And I know we're going to get into that question here in a bit, but it's definitely building above code. And really, honestly, it is tomorrow's home today.
Yep. Thank you, Tim. Thank you. So a follow-on question to that, why does your company build a Zero Energy Ready, and why did you choose the DOE program, and how are you benefiting from it as a builder? Love to hear from Kevin, Jay, and Todd on this one.
And I'll jump in here. That's I think for Insight, it was a natural progression. Our company started as an experiment about 15 years ago. The owner of the company looked at the industry at the time and said, boy, there's got to be a better way to build homes. Having just built a home himself and experiencing the struggles with some of the trades. So he jumped into the industry and said, I got to figure this out, and partnered at that time with the Building America program. And the resources and the tools that the Building America program provided were invaluable in helping establish the standards that Insight follows today. And continuing that relationship, we decided, with the benefit of the third-party verification that you have under the DOE program, with the holistic approach that's included in this program as well. Not just looking at energy efficiency, but looking at building durability, looking at comfort, indoor air quality. We saw that was the total customer experience that we wanted to provide, and the program helped support it. So the tools and resources that the DOE program provide for our customers, for our sales staff, it's just a natural fit. It really gives that third party seal of approval stamp that shows, hey, we're not just out there talking a big game, we're walking the walk, and we're showing it through third party verification with a reputable organization behind it.
Mhm. Thank you. Jay, would you like to chime in?
Yes. Well, we started out, and I was telling you earlier, with the villas at Rockets Landing, and Healthy Communities is the name of our company. And it stood for Healthy, Energy Efficient Communities. And this is before or joined with the Zero Energy Ready Home program. And when we were made aware of what was going on in the Build America program, I was happy to get back in the fold. I've been doing this for close to 40 years now. And this has been an opportunity to showcase to the buyer what to look for, what to expect in their home. A lot of times what I'll tell a buyer is that basically they're coming in for the first time to our office, is that, let us be your last stop. Let us be your first stop. If we're your first stop, we'll show you what to look for from the other builders, and then come back. If it's the last stop, then you'll see the difference. And that's been the big piece with us. The Zero Energy Ready Home equates to many pieces, from energy efficiency. That's someone that may be the guy driving the Tesla car. The deep green building that we get involved in, the recirculating pumps on the hot water heaters, saving up to 7,000, 8,000 gallons a year in water conservation. Or it may be the person that's looking for that stability in the home, just feeling safe in the home, the tranquility. So it's a lot of pieces, and you draw in all the customers across it's 100% of the customers. And that's been the big difference. And that's why I chose the Zero Energy Ready Home program. And it's a benefit to our company, because now if they're not buying from us in our development, now we're building them a custom home on their lot. So we're trying to answer that question as, what is the house of the future? And we're coming closer and closer today because of what's happened with this COVID event. People are spending more time at home, and they're taking this in essence. This is the first stop to building your next home. Thank you.
Thank you. Todd, would you like to share with us? You're on mute, Todd. Thanks.
Yep, got it. I think for us, as I mentioned in the intro, building the Zero Energy Ready standard was just a logical progression for us. We started back in 2002, 2003, building to Energy Star and a regional green building program called Earthcraft House. And as the codes have become more stringent, and these third-party voluntary programs have become more stringent. We've just elected to continue to step up with the third-party voluntary standards. And we feel like the Zero Energy Ready Home Standard really embodies the best practices that are most practical for building a new home today. I think in many words, these become the logical thing to do. Once we talk to a client and explain to them the options that they have to incorporate into the most expensive purchase likely of their life currently, their new home, the elements of Zero Energy Ready Home just become the logical decision to make. Now, we give our clients the option to do renewable solar or not. That's not something we include in every home. It's only if it makes sense for a particular client. But we feel like it is the minimum standard that we are willing to build to, and recognizing that code is really just above illegal to build a home. Zero Energy Ready has become our minimum standard, and we find that there are many people on the market today that agree with us.
Thank you so much. We've got a couple more questions here. What is the biggest barrier you've had to overcome in achieving the Zero Energy Ready Home certification or zero energy performance, and how did you do it? And we'd like to hear from Jay, Tim, and Todd on that one.
Okay, I'll give it a
Okay.
start. I think the key in this program is really first starting with a great energy rater, and so we had that relationship with our energy rater. So that was one obstacle that typically is an obstacle that we did not have to overcome. But our bigger challenges were really in getting our HVAC contractor and our plumbing contractors expertise involved in their understanding of how the program worked as it related to their installation of the ductwork, as it worked as an installation of the plumbing loop system that we have to do in our homes. So there was some learning curve there. I think getting your HVAC contractor and your plumbing contractor involved early on in the process, in discussion with your energy rater and any representative for the Department of Energy Zero Energy Ready Home program is key. We had pre-construction meetings in the design phase, and we also had it out on site, and it was just a great group collaboration. So we only have one HVAC contractor that we've used since 2007 is when we started this company, and the same thing with one insulator. So consistency in your trades, I think, is another key element to reduce the level of barrier to and consistency with execution in this program. Those are kind of the key things that we found as our challenges, is really the duct testing with our HVAC contractor. Our energy rater does all of our manual J calculations, so that started out pretty easy for us in making a good design and distribution system for the HVAC in the home. But getting those mechanical trades involved early on is key. And what we found is, our guys, our group of trades are so engaged in this program with us now that they've actually found that they've improved their level of performance and execution in all other parts of their business with other builders. Now, the other builders aren't doing the Zero Energy Ready Home program, but they are getting a much more comfortable home through the distribution system based on the learnings that our HVAC contractor has had. But it's really been the mechanicals and getting them involved early. That's really what's been the case for us.
Nice, thank you. Jay, do you want to speak to this? Maybe you could
Yes.
mention your DigiBuild system that you're using.
Well, I could, but I'd like to talk about, if you're first time coming into the Zero certification, it can seem, if you look at all the paperwork, it's overwhelming. And it's really a coined phrase, the simplicity of the build. And you need to tie yourself up and be a partnered with a good rater, because they'll guide you through that. And then it's your choices where you decide what window you're going to use, what heating and cooling system I'm going to use, how am I going to insulate the walls, how am I going to allow for the solar on the roof in the future. All those pieces have to be written down. And with a good rater, you can do what if scenarios, trading it back and forth. And that helps you get to that point where you've got a home that's certified. Now, as was spoken earlier, you have to flip into building it. And again, that's your partnership with your mechanical, your plumbing, your electrical, your framers. And you have to sit down with them, have them involved when you're going through pre-construction, when the tester is coming out. Let them see when you get a great number. And at the finished product, when your blower door, they have to go to the small ring and it's a 1. It makes them feel good too. And they're part of that partnership that you're achieving. And I mentioned before about the manual J. And the manual J is one of the most important part of your mechanical. What you'll find is that your installer wants to put in a system. You're going to change it over to a high performance system. And then they're going to create the manual J for you, but they're not going to give you the tonnage per square footage that's deserving under that high performance home. So let your third party rater do it. And so you have the good manual J in hand, and your system is that you're spending the money for this high performance system is getting the highest use. And to mention what we do is we work with DigiBuild. It's the BIM operating program. And basically it's a little bit above Revit, but it allows us to customize the home in the cloud before it's built. And we look at the interactions of the plumbing, the mechanical, so there's no conflict as it goes up and being built. But there is an educational learn. There's that curve when you're even dealing with the architect, so they understand what you're building. So the architect, the rater, and the builder all speak before the house even begins. Thank you.
Thank you. Todd, would you like to speak to this at all?
Yeah, sure. I think in our climate zone, one of the biggest challenges when we transitioned to the zero energy ready standard was getting our heating and cooling ductwork inside conditioned space, inside the building envelope. With our climate area and the topography we build a number of homes on slab foundations. We then have a challenge of where are we going to put the ductwork. I think as you saw earlier in the presentation with the Habitat folks out of New York, they do a modified truss to get their ductwork up into a chase. We do a little similar approach that we evolved to after moving to zero energy ready, which is building basically an insulated room and insulated chases in our attic when we are building on a slab foundation and don't have space for the ductwork. So we've been able to overcome that. It is challenging in some phases. We've actually brought our duct design in-house so that we can anticipate where the ducts need to run and how they're going to fit and work with our framing, which was always a challenge working with our HVAC contractor. They tended to be a little after the fact in trying to address where the ductwork was going to go. So that's been one of the hurdles we had and how we solved it. And then the biggest bang for our buck, I think, is exterior insulation. 1-inch foam board on the outside of the house gives us a huge return in not only energy savings, but in comfort and quiet for the occupants, for the homeowners.
Good point. Thank you. Anthony and Tim, would you like to respond to that too, the biggest bang for your buck?
Yeah, talking about what gives us the biggest bang for our buck. So, I'm a spec builder here. So I'm a for-profit builder here in the city of Seattle. We on a sustainable level, we compete against custom builders that have open checkbooks to experiment and try new things out. And So when I started doing this, I decided to be a guinea pig. I've tried every different wall system, every different type of air sealing product out there. I partnered with different, material suppliers, manufacturers, till what we thought was the secret sauce about just making the home really, really airtight. And how we do that as well is we apply a fluid applied membrane on the outside of the house, and it becomes part of the sheeting of the house. A lot of people use, house wrap underneath their siding, and that's very typical, right? But that could tear, or that can get compromised, and then water can get to the inside of the building and cause other issues. So the flat outside of the house is a simple way to air seal the house, and it's a permeable membrane. It works really well for us, and we can apply that in the rainy Seattle marketplace, put our roof and windows in, and we're dried in, and siding can happen after that. So, having a really tight, airtight house through a fluid applied membrane on the exterior really works for us here. And then the other product that we use on the interior of the house that gives us the biggest bang for our buck is a product called Aero Barrier. And it allows us to pressurize the house and set up little sprayers in the house that put airborne caulk beads throughout the air. And it goes to where the little tiny cracks and where air can leak out. And we can sit outside and, we sit there, we're at a 2 ACH, and, 2 hours later, we're down to a 0.6. And we're watching it. How far do you want to go? How far do you want to go? So that's the game changer for us. So the biggest bang for our buck is that if you can keep all that heat that you paid for, and that the buyer and the homeowner has paid for inside the house, you're halfway there. And so an airtight home that's ventilated properly, obviously, is crucial. But that gives us the biggest bang for our buck is the exterior fluid applied membrane and the Aero Barrier on the inside air seal in our homes.
Nice, thank you. Tim.
Yeah, I mean, like Anthony said, air sealing is really the biggest bang for our buck. I mean, one of the things that was a little bit of a challenge for us, if we go back to that question about biggest barrier, was really getting our trade partners, especially our mechanical trades, to really focus on air sealing, because they put a lot of holes in the wall system, whether it's a hose bib going outside or electrical coach lights running outside through the wall system. It's really the education on air sealing. And once we got everybody on board with that, and we became very persistent on educating, training, and checking for air sealing, we saw our air changes per hour go down dramatically. So that, and what Todd had alluded to as well, as the exterior insulated sheathing, the 1 inch or 1 inch plus that you can wrap around your house. It's a great kind of thermal blanket, thermal comfort for your home. And it really helps to take some of those cold spots out of your exterior corners and in your wall system. And it's pretty cost effective, and the performance is well worth it.
Great, thank you. Couple more questions here. If you were to approach zero energy construction again, what would you do differently? And I'd love to hear from you, Kevin, and from Rick.
Thanks, Teresa. I thought a bit about this, and there are a number of things I think we could look at with trade relations and training. But one of the areas that seems to have limited us a little bit is the way that we approach some of our marketing. And when we're always trying to push the envelope in terms of new products and incorporating different systems and technologies that are on the forefront of the market, it creates a little bit of a challenge when we focus heavily on the brands that we're using in our marketing. We're forced to use some brand recognition in our marketing in order to compete with many of the other production builders in the area. They're touting the HVAC equipment brands that they're using, even if they're not high performance. So we try to do the same thing with focusing on some of the better brands. However, if new equipment comes out, it requires a big shift in our branding and our marketing, and to incorporate maybe a better performing or a higher performing or a new piece of technology. And it's I think in the future, if we were to look at how we would market we might be a little bit more brand agnostic and not pigeonhole ourselves into being locked into certain brands and require such a big shift and change in the way that we're marketing each time we want to incorporate something new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. Rick, would you like to answer the first question? You can answer the second one as well if you'd like.
So the first question, most people's laptop batteries would die by the time I'm through with everything that I would do differently. But if I were to do it again, here's what I would just offer to the group on the call is that I would probably put much more emphasis on the construction documents, in the plans. Don't just commission a standard building department set from your building professionals, because most of the detailing and most of the intricacy, and Jay mentioned using BIM and the building information modeling, the way that we can look at homes before we start building them is a huge opportunity. So we spoke about, a lot of my colleagues have spoke about a code home, and I heard things like D- on your report card. I heard the lowest standard. I actually like the one that it's just above being illegal, which is actually true. But I think the point is that we can design on the front side how to build a better home and help our designers and the clients to understand what we're going to build. So don't just commission a set of plans and say, I'm going to get it through the building department and try to figure out all this stuff afterwards, because that's something I wouldn't recommend and something I thought I could do on the fly and it didn't work out well. The other thing I would do is vet more of the high performance building products that are out there, because it seems like there's a new flavor of ERV versus HRV. And these exhaust fans are continuous duty. These are 80 CFM. These are 120 CFM. This one comes on by itself. This one does exhaust only ventilation. This one does supply and exhaust. This one does balance. You have to really, from your get-go, when you have a good idea of what you want to do in your project, you should then curate your products and work with industry. And your manufacturer reps are really a great resource, because not only do they want to sell you stuff, they want to educate you, because they want to move their high performance products to market. And if we have builders executing on the products better, it just works out for everybody, I think. And the last thing I would do is probably tap more into a builder community. Instead of looking at what my brother-in-law is doing on Facebook, I probably would spend some more time chatting with builders in my climate zone and saying, hey, I'm trying my first high performance home. What do you guys think? And high performance home builders, like many on this panel, are more than eager to share their knowledge. So I would actually encourage many people who are on this webinar to even reach out in the future, because everybody here would be more than willing to help.
Awesome, thank you. Kevin, did you have any thoughts on features or technologies you hope to try in the future?
I think, like Rick was saying, there's a number of different types of ventilation things that I'd love to be able to go out there and try. It's there's any number of new types of products on the market at all the time. And finding one that is reliable, finding one that's proven, especially when you're focusing on things that are always kind of pushing the envelope in the industry, it's a tough balance. It's a balance of, hey, can we incorporate something new to stay on the forefront, but has it been tested and proven? And do we want to incorporate it into the 200, 300 homes that we're building each year? There's a big opportunity for failure there. So there are certain things that we have decided we want to focus on. Ventilation is one of them, looking at some opportunities for the balanced ventilation with energy recovery. The other thing that you see out in the market the last couple of years is the Aero Barrier product and trying that aerosol sealing. It'd be a challenge incorporating into the construction schedule. However, we do think that there are some benefits to helping further control the exchange of outdoor air with the interior, especially in the mixed humid climate zone. But beyond just the specific technology or feature, we are really looking to experiment with the whole idea of getting customers kind of like addicted to your product and addicted to your homes, and really incorporate even a broader customer base by incentivizing them to get hooked on Insight early in their home purchasing or home rental careers. And we see the benefit of introducing them to getting comfortable in an Insight home at that rental stage and incentivizing them to further transition to a for sale home when they are ready. So really looking at how to engage different customers at different levels and showing them the features and benefits of living in a high performance home, even when you're just starting out and trying to get into a rental, and then providing that long-term benefit of some type of reduced deposit or additional incentive to make that transition to a for sale home, and then try to keep with that customer throughout their lifetime.
And Terry, I would probably add that for battery storage, that's something that we're going to move into next. I've been sort of hesitant recently to do it, but now that it's moved past the Tesla Powerwall, Panasonic is now bringing products to market for battery storage for residential projects. I think that might be our next move, especially coupled with EV charging. So we can capture energy from PV solar, it could go to the batteries, we could charge at night. And it's a really great future, I think, for what we would try. And the other thing is the thermally driven heat pumps. So here's a heat pump that not only does space heating and cooling, but also does domestic hot water. For us, it eliminates one appliance, which is a air source heat pump domestic hot water heater. So those are two things I think we would try.
Nice, nice. Jay, do you have any thoughts to add on that, on new technologies?
Well, be careful. I guess that's the two words, be careful, because Rick and I can tell you, we've been around for a long time. And with the roundtables, what we've been is we have the manufacturers surrounding us and they want us to try the product. Then they want their feedback and they want to hear from us. And it's and we have such great products that are on the market today. And proven products. That's the other piece. We're pretty down packed right now. I would say our components, our windows, our windows, doors, our insulation, our thermal breaks on the exterior, all the pieces that you put into the puzzle are actually singing a pretty good song. And it's actually outperforming our HERS ratings. So in other words, I'm getting houses, and I alluded to that earlier, that we're getting a HERS of 10, but there's zero energy. So I'm happy with what we're doing, and our subcontractors understand it. Again, it's that simplicity of the build, and be careful when you bring that next piece in. How does it perform against what you already have in the house? One thing that we are going to try is the Cosmos Healthy Home System. So we always talk about indoor air quality, and we meet ASHRAE, and we've got our ERVs and in the house, and it's moving throughout the day, and we've gone to the heat pumps that are variable, not variable speed, but it's variable stages, and that can ramp up and ramp down. But the other piece is the indoor air quality. People are living in that house longer. So if they've got a larger party, there's sensors now that are available to see that, to check the air quality and to increase the fresh air coming in, whether it's through the bathroom fan, the ERV, and exhausting air. It's all a matter of now it's becoming a 24-hour seasonal within the home event that we're testing. And, so it's beyond ASHRAE, and it's, to get the harmful indoor toxins, the VOCs, the fine particles, carbon dioxide, and the humidity. Sometimes it may be just a button instead of turning on the range, just to give you an example, turning on the range hood because all of a sudden and putting it on high because you've overcooked something. But what happens if you're cooking something in the oven and it's not going to come on, but with the new sensor systems, it will. So I'm looking forward to testing the Panasonic Cosmo.
Nice. Thank you. We have a couple, our last set of questions. How do you feel about, how do your subcontractors feel about working with you on Zero Energy Ready? And then a question on cost and selling and advice you would give to builders who haven't tried Zero Energy Ready yet. On that first question, Jay, Kevin, and Rick. So Kevin, you want to go first?
Sure, I could jump in on the subcontractor side. Listen, the subcontractors at this time, I mean, given the status of the industry, they are really strung out. They are being pulled in a lot of directions, just given how busy the industry is, the demands on working, faster for less. I think they're at a very high level of stress, specifically now. But you can really see the trades and the partners that are committed to the program when they're still willing to participate in design discussions, roundtables, and design charrettes to further improve the product even during these times. Good testament is even last night, I was sitting with my HVAC company and my energy rating company, and we were sitting there until 8 o'clock last night, just designing the HVAC system for one of our new products. I mean, the guys are committed, putting in the time and effort, and they know that, and this goes not just with high performance home building, but just in general, having good partnerships. They know that we're asking them to try something new, and we're willing to stand behind them in that effort. If something doesn't work, it doesn't work. We're not going to leave them, hanging out to dry. We're going to stand behind them and help them address it and figure out a new solution. So it's really about how you develop the relationship with your trade, and knowing that when you're asking them to try something new in these high performance homes, that you're standing behind it with them. I can't remember who was speaking to it before, but some of the details become more and more important when you're building these high performance homes. And you wind up, maybe it was Rick talking about some of those details, like the air sealing. And once you get into reduced envelope leakage and lower capacity HVAC systems and low load homes, you don't have the benefit of just overcoming issues with horsepower. And you don't want to be in that case. So really training the trades and putting in the extra time to make sure you're walking with them and helping point out the issues up front, so they're not having to come back and deal with them on the back end. They do appreciate that over time. They recognize the value in those third-party inspections and coming in and giving them the feedback. Hey, listen, you need to correct this air sealing detail. You need to fix this penetration. You need to fix this flashing detail, so that we aren't back here tearing apart walls. It seems like a little bit extra work up front, but it pays dividends in the long run. And you see it when those trades are coming back to you and not avoiding you in conversations. They come back to you and want to be a partner. And that's a good testament to the fact that they see value in participating with you in this program.
Nice. Tim O'Brien, did you want to add anything to that on subcontractors?
Yeah, I think Kevin did a great job summing it up for us. I mentioned kind of under the question of what is the biggest barrier that we've seen that overcome, is also turned into what's been the biggest benefit. as it relates to our trade partners. And that's really been their getting a better understanding of how to build a high performance system. Again, whether that's plumbing distribution or HVAC distribution and the returns that come back down to the furnace, they've learned a lot and they've really appreciated that opportunity. And I believe, Jay, you had mentioned, the get them to kind of celebrate with you and understand that they are innovators. And so we have an annual vendor appreciation party for all our vendors, and every year we have an innovation award, and it's gone to those that have really been engaged with our Zero Energy Ready Home program, and they will tell you that it's made them a better trade partner, it's made them a better professional, and I think that that's one of the big benefits that comes out of it, and they're really engaged. They want to learn more. And, we're working on what our next step is in this game. And they're right there with us and with our energy rater as well, who's phenomenal. I can't tell you how important it is to have such a great energy rater because they will model stuff for you. Our guy just loves, he's a real energy nerd and he just loves trying out different things. So, it makes them better. And when they're better, because we don't build homes. Our trade partners build a home. So when we put them in a position to win and get better at what they do, it makes us better. It makes everybody around us better. And I think that's really been a huge benefit of this program for us, has been the elevation that we've had with our trades. And I think they really appreciate that.
Nice, thank you. We're getting tight on time. So Rick, you want to answer that? Anything that you want to add on subcontractors and throw in advice while you're at it?
Yeah, I'm just going to give you a quick old timer perspective, doing this for 30 years. My kids still call me boomer. And, I'm just going to tell you what I've noticed. There's three groups of subs from what I've seen. There's the first group are the naysayers, the guys who are really resistant to change. Their sort of motto is, I've been doing this for 20 years and that 20-year rule for them just allows them to just not innovate. And they're just not the guys that you really want to have as a core part of your development team. The second group, they're open to it if you show them the advantage or you make it easy for them. So they're workable. And the third group are those early adopters and the guys who really see the benefit and the value add, not only for their company, their skill set, but also for the growth of not only what they could provide for the customer and the builder, but for what they're doing just for, and I don't want to sound corny, but has a lot to do with helping to preserve our climate, our environment, and everything in the future. You're the contributor to that. So what I would suggest is you get rid of the guys in part A, you put on your psychology hat and you work and you kind of lead with something positive and embrace and empower your subs to get to the next level with you. And you reward the guys who are the innovators.
Nice, nice. Thank you. How much does it cost, and does building to this level help you sell houses? Anthony, would you like to speak to that?
Sure, I will. I think the questions you need to ask yourself as a builder interested in a program like this is, what's it costing you if you don't do it? The market's going that direction. Buyers want it. Climate change is affecting everybody's decision-making processes right now. So as a builder sitting on the sidelines watching what's going on, get into the game because it's really, really crucial. As far as what it costs, we're making that up on the back end because our homes become more valuable. And so for me, to answer that question, there is no cost. But if you're looking at in dollar and cents into the pro forma and the budgets and so forth, for dwell development, it's about a 3 to 4% additional cost to get a code home to a net zero energy ready home. And there's a lot of builders that put 5% into contingency into their line items for building a home. So from us, it's not a factor. And really, it's the four things that I want to hammer on. It's the verbiage that we use a lot is build it tight and ventilate it right. And those two factors that are just a small additional cost are, the air sealing that we talked about and adding the HRV into your building envelope. I mean, those two things are crucial. We add triple pane windows and then more insulation in the 10 to 12 inch thick walls, and you're there. So those incremental costs above what you normally would build in a standard wall system or a code built home is an additional cost, but it's not worth not doing. So, and when you do this, you get recognized for it, and having that DOE recognition and your local certification programs, it's a badge of honor. And it's really, really important that you share that information. I print these documents when I get my HERS rating and I get my Indoor Air Plus and my Energy Star. Those go into my house on the counter or on the wall in a plaque. So when they walk into our homes, they see these homes are already different. So the program helps us validate what we do, and they also build value into why we do it, and the buyers actually appreciate it. It's the right way to build a house, right?
Yeah, nice, thank you. Todd, do you want to weigh in on that? How much it costs and does it help you sell homes?
Yeah, I mean, with this being what we do, we don't do anything else. So it's very hard for me to say, well, if we built a code built home, it would cost X, but the way we build costs Z. This is just what we do. And I feel like we have, because this is what we do, we've been able to figure out how to do this efficiently and cost effectively in our area. And, the evidence I have of that is that we compete against builders who simply build to code all day, every day. And we have clients that choose us. So I tell folks we're competitive with any other builder in our market, but we're building a far better product by following the Zero Energy Ready standards.
Nice, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your answers to these questions. Just great input. Aaron, do we have any questions from the audience?
Yeah, I've got a quick question for Anthony. You talked about fluid applied membrane. I actually was really interested in that as well. And it seems like such a great product for the Seattle market. But can you talk about the fluid applied membrane that you're having success with, and maybe some lessons learned around deploying that technology?
Sure, and I'll be quick because I know there's other questions. So, obviously it rains a lot here, and we've always struggled with making our houses airtight. And from the inside, you're going around corners with smoke sticks as the home's pressurized, and you're trying to find the little leaks where people drill a hole that you didn't know about, or a plumber punches through. So it's logical when someone introduced this fluid applied membrane process, which they do in a lot of commercial buildings. This makes sense for residential, and no one took that leap yet. No one tried it. And so I'm like, I'm a guinea pig, I'm a geek. It might bite me on the butt, but I'm gonna go for it. And applying this to the exterior of the home is it's a 1.5 day process where they come roll it on the exterior of the home. It flashes into the windows, and it can even be lightly misty and raining here. And it does that a little bit here in Seattle, and the product still cures. And the next day, roof's on, windows are in, and you're continuing the construction process. For us, we're not waiting around for the siders to come and wrap the house. And so it allows us to keep going, which saves us time and saves us money. As far as lessons learned, once we did it once, it became a fabric and part of our standard construction process. We've tried different levels of fluid applied membranes, and some of them meet passive house level, and they're 5 times more expensive. And we've tried them all, but the one that we started with, which is the most cost-effective one, we've done net zero energy homes, we've done passive homes with it, and every single home that we get gets the same product. So, it's a standard for us, and it's part of what we do.
Can you share that brand name, Anthony?
Yeah, it's called EnviroDry,
Okay.
and the manufacturer is Tremco.
Great. And Anthony, are you having your subcontractors put all the penetrations through prior to that fluid applied membrane? So you're kind of designating, get all your exterior penetrations in first, then you're doing the membrane?
In the perfect mind of my perfect schedule.
Sorry, that was my question. In the perfect, yeah.
That's the plan. Most of the time it doesn't work out that way.
Great.
But we have processes to fix that. But yeah.
Yeah, and it sounded like the ACH that you're achieving with between the fluid applied and then the Aero Barrier to really seal things from the inside is you're getting down below 1 almost all the time?
All the time now. Now it's just a matter of how long do you want to keep going? I mean, it's like, does it really make a difference between a 0.8 and a 0.4? I mean, really, it's just, a few extra bucks and a badge of honor. But no, I mean, as long as you're down below 1, I mean, we're fine with it unless we're going for some crazy energy modeling goal or something.
And
Yeah.
Aaron, folks should actually look into fluid applied flashings as well.
Yes.
That's fantastic. And do you have one, Rick, that you recommend?
There's a whole host of them. We use the one from BASF. Again, we just paint around the window door opening, and it seems to work out so much better for the guys in the field than all the sticking and the layering and the peeling, and the stuff sticks to each and then they throw it out.
Yeah.
Painting it on seems to work out better for them.
That's great. Question for Jay Epstein. Jay, you use spray foam installation in addition to your zip sheathing. That seems redundant to our audience for air sealing. Can you talk about that?
Well, yes. The zip with the R3, the closed cell on the exterior of the stud, that is there as a thermal break. That keeps the studs. Normally you'll have an exterior plywood hitting the stud, and you've got that thermal transfer back and forth during the seasons. This avoids that. On the interior of the 2x6 walls, we put 1 inch of open cell or closed cell, but we get an air seal. That's the purpose of that. And then we take the insulation, which is an R19, because we're in a 4.5 inch area, is now an R16. So that becomes the wall system.
Okay.
And it really acts as an airtight. The thermal on the exterior is for one purpose, and that's to break that heat cold transfer. And it works. It's tranquility is a way of describing it. It really is a thermal blanket that wraps around, and it works.
Yeah, and Jay, you talked about that, but when you go into a zero energy ready home, the thing that always strikes me is tranquility. It's just a quieter home on the inside.
It is.
And it's so hard to convey in a webinar, but any of these builders on the call, you go into one of their homes, Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's like I said before, let us be your first visit or our last visit, and you'll see the difference.
Right.
And it really, what happens is that what we do behind the walls, we don't get credit for. It's just that the people don't see it. They're looking at the competition and the finish. So you've got to make sure your sheetrock finish is, instead of nailing it, you're screwing it. Instead of you use a level 4 sheetrock finish. So it shows that finish. And on the exterior, hardy siding, because it shows the strength. Because they don't realize, we don't put curtains in our model because I want them to be able to vision that 2x4 wall, 2x6 wall.
Right.
And we don't cover the windows either, because on a sunny day, you can sit there and you can feel the heat. The heat reflects out and the windows are still cool. And you wouldn't believe before COVID the amount of fingerprints we would have on our windows.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yep.
Lots of talk about continuous insulation and what a benefit that is. Is that and maybe this is for Terry or Terrence, or maybe it's for one of the builders, is that a requirement of the Zero Energy Ready Home program or just a best practice?
It's a best practice.
Okay.
Yeah, Aaron, we sell that as outsulating. People like that term.
That's cool.
And they understand it, because continuous rigid insulation to a typical home buyer, they're like, what?
That's fantastic. And then I'm really interested in maybe we'll wrap things up with a question back for Terry and Terrence, but we've got the new Biden administration coming in. We've got President Biden giving a talk coming up this week. I think is it tonight? I think we've got him talking tonight.
That would be tonight.
Yes, tonight. So check your local broadcast schedule. But what is the future for zero energy ready homes for Terry and Teresa? Terrence and Terry.
I'm gonna let Terrence take that one.
No, sure. No, I can tell you, Aaron, that we are definitely trying to move with the times, and we are currently working on some draft versions of the next version of Zero Energy Ready Homes, and we will definitely be working with the builders online here, as well as a lot of our other affiliate builders, to get to be able to get feedback on that. But you know, where the administration is going and where we're trying to go to is to you know, of course, gain better performance, but at the same time be sensitive to the overall goals of the administration when it comes to reducing carbon, trying to decarbonize, trying to electrify, or head towards more electrification, and we'll continue to work with our builders to implement, you know, a lot of these you know, newer technologies to try to reach the goal. But yeah, we're headed to definitely looking to advance the ball a little bit further with the next version, and we'll continue to work with these great builders to you know, to push it over the goal line. or should I say, Jay, since today is NCAA day, we'll try to hit a 3 at the buzzer.
Okay, well, I want to just jump in for a second on that 3 at the buzzer. What we need is marketing dollars. Let the world know who we are.
Man. No, that's
Absolutely.
great. That's great. Well, I want to thank our moderators, Terrence Mosley and Terry Gilbride. And I want to thank our panelists, Anthony, Jay, Kevin, Rick, Tim, and Todd. You know, what you guys do is incredible, and you're a beacon for the entire industry, and we're proud to call you friends. So all my best, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very
Thanks so
much.
much.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Take care.